Here we go.
We are live.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Ross,
Are you intoxicated or something?
introduce the guest, man.
Today we are bringing you the face that runs the place. It's the one and only Ryan Chaos Curtis. Curta, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, boys. How are you getting on?
Doing great,
Man,
Doing
unbelievable. You were the Energized Inspirational Fighter of the Year in 2024. And my God, have you inspired many people, Ryan. How are you doing today? Tell us that.
Nah, I appreciate that, boys. I feel phenomenal. I'm just back from the gym there and yeah, just about to do this and have something to eat. And yeah, everything's phenomenal. Coming on great.
Yeah, you're looking great, Ryan.
No, I appreciate it, boys. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm
nothing
really,
nothing new there, says you.
yeah, no, I'm really getting there, every day just getting stronger and yeah, like I said, just such a contrast from this time last year, but like I said, nothing, no surprise to me.
Yeah, obviously, Ryan, 11th of January last year, like your life changed in such a monumental way, and no one had more belief in yourself than you did. Where does that self belief come from? And tell us this: like, did you know in a year's time you'd be where you are today? Did you know you'd be making these milestones so fast?
Do you know what? To be honest, I probably thought I was gonna do it sooner, and that's the truth of it, because I knew. So are telling me all these things, but I knew, I was like, I was okay, no problem. But I know, it doesn't matter what you're telling me. And I appreciate your opinion and everything else, but I know what I can do. And you don't know me to be able to tell me, okay, yeah, you can give me your medical opinion, but I just knew what I could do with, and I know what I've overcome in my life and how mentally strong I am. So, yeah, I knew what I could do.
Ryan, first of all, absolute inspiration. But can I I heard you were on with the Talking Bollocks lads, and shout out to them boys as
Yeah,
well. And
legends.
you described what the actual accident was or how it happened. I haven't actually seen a visual of that. Would you be able to sort of show us just on camera what sort of happened so people tuning in can actually see what happened?
Yeah, so I was so they went in through my neck here. There's like a scar here. It's faded a good bit, to be honest. And there's a big scar going down my back. Not down the back of my neck. It was so funny because in America, the way I feel like the people are a lot more gullible over in America, and they were asking me what happened, and I was telling them I got shot just for the buzz. You know what I mean? I was just having a laugh. So yeah, that was my story over there. I got shot. I was telling them I was a pimp in Ireland, and I was walking around because obviously I had a limp a lot more. I was a lot more noticeable over there. I was just having a buzz about it.
You're
But
probably dressed in the nines as well.
yeah, one of them hats with the little feathers coming out the top and all. Now what had happened was so I broke my neck, and when I snapped my neck, the vertebrae pinched my spinal cord. So I broke C4, C5, and C6, and I think the C4 exploded into my back. And like I was saying on Talking Bollocks, I wish they all exploded because then that wouldn't have been the pinch on the spinal cord, because that's what really does the damage. But the C4 and 5, or the C5 and C6 rather, was compressing me spinal cord, and that's what was causing the paralysis.
And what sort of move happened in the gym for that to actually happen?
Well, it was just we were on all fours, and you either had to roll back to guard or else get back up to the feet. Me, as I was getting back up to the feet, my arm got trapped, and yeah, it was just like nearly like blading. Did you ever see Kevin Randleman and Fedor?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that suplex? It was nearly like that. It was, yeah. It was just, look, it was just the way it all went, and yeah, unfortunate. But these things happen. You're not in the gym to play bingo. It's a combat sport, and it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose in touching that, like obviously it is very, very dangerous, and like as you say, like you're fighting, like what I mean, like it's not so much a sport; it's as much a fight. Each time you step
Mm.
foot in there, you put your health at risk. Obviously, real tragedy has happened the last week. Obviously, John
Yeah,
Cooney died
yeah.
after up in Belfast. Like, what do you think when you see something like that happen?
Like, but that's why I always say, like, I've openly said that from the beginning. I've said this from the start of my career, but it's not a sport. My attitude was, you know, you're in there to die and I'm in here to die. And that's the way, because it can happen at any time. And people want to think about it like a sport. I never thought of it like a sport. Like like one of the things is like the most humiliating feeling in the world to be beaten in front of all the people you love. Like, I mean,
Mm.
for me, that's not really a nice thing. Like, it's you get beaten at a game of tennis or a game of golf, and it's like, oh, okay, you just got beat, but you're going around with your head down, shamed by getting humiliated in front of everybody you loves, and then there's like a possibility that you can die in there. I mean,
Mm.
it's not. I never used to think of it like a sport. That's the way I always thought, and that's why I was always willing to go so far than the other person, because you're not gonna kill me, because I'm
Mm.
coming to kill you, and that was my attitude from my first fight till my last fight.
Yeah, I think also if some of the fans actually saw what happened, what goes on behind the curtain, like after each fight, like the way some of the fighters are so dejected after. I know the winner is always loving life, but like if you actually look at the person who loses, who walks out with their head down with their team, it's actually like such an emotional
Mm.
watch. I know, Kurt, that you've seen a million times, but like Ross, you've been there as well, and it's mad to see it. Like, and it would actually like cut down on people trying to absolutely abuse them online for losing as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, to be honest, like the fans have no idea. They just tune in on the night of the fight. They didn't know the 12 weeks beforehand. They're not seeing your family. They're missing out on all the events, the hard work, the injuries. It's just there's just so much that goes on, and then not all the fans, but then to be able to just tune in on the night of the fight and then see someone losing and then go online and just slate them, and it's like you have no idea what's at the going into that man's life, or everything
Mm.
that's led up to that point, and then you just want to go on and abuse them, and they're doing it for your entertainment. It's just like fighters a lot of the time don't get a fair shake off everybody, the
No.
fans, the promoters. A lot of fighters struggle to get paid, and it's a ruthless game. And um, I just loved it, and that's why I always done it. I never done it for the fame or the money. I just actually just loved to fight. But it's ruthless. It's cutthroat, because you're the best thing since sliced bread when you're winning, and then when you're losing, you're just another shy bag. So that's
Mm.
unfortunately that's the way it is. But as long as you don't get it misconstrued and you understand that's the way it is, then your feelings are never really hurt.
Mm.
Because yeah, it just that's what you expect. Then
Mhm.
it's only I feel like you only get hurt when you have a false perception of it.
Yeah, and like, look, obviously, rest in peace, John Cooney. I mean, he used to always,
Awful.
we used to message him before every fight, and like, he used to always get back to us saying he was going to put on a show, and that he did, like, absolute warrior. And like, that's the thing, you put your health on the line when you get in there. Very few understand what that's like. I mean, and you are one of them, Ryan. So, R.I.P. to him.
No, and
What?
you know what, boys? Because I know people who personally know him. I heard nothing but great things about the guy. Absolute gent. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I heard he was an absolute gentleman, an
Yeah,
absolute gent. So yeah, he'll be sadly missed.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately.
sorry, yeah, but so are so many people in the scene as well.
Mm.
That's what I think a lot of people from the outside looking in as well, to the not only Irish MMA scene or Irish combat scene, but like they have a false perception of what the actual scene is like, and the way how many like communities it's helping, like how many
Mm.
people it's like it's just helping in general, like it's keeping people off the streets. It's that's why myself and Ross love covering it, don't we, Ross?
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose that brings on to our next point. Like, obviously, like when your accident happened, like I don't think I've ever seen the Irish MMA community rally so hard behind one individual. Like gyms were putting on like seminars at all times, trying to raise some money for you. Gary Rooney was up and down the breadth and length of the country, as was key for putting on seminars, trying to raise money for you. Did you feel all that love and all that backing that was behind you at the time?
Do you know what, boys? That's what kept me going a lot of the times. Like the messages and the support, and it's just such an like overwhelming. Like the amount of times that I was overwhelmed by the support and the messages and just everybody reaching out. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful feeling we're inside me, and everybody got behind me, and it was so nice to feel. And like I said, a lot of the time, that's what kept me going. It was in the gym and in the hospital. I mean, it was just such a nice feeling, and it was amazing for me. Like the support I got, like you said, was just, yeah, it was phenomenal, beautiful.
It was, yeah.
Well, I think that goes to also show the type of character that you are, Ryan. Like, obviously, you have a big personality. You know what I mean? Like, D1 in you probably gives you that
Yeah.
bit of loud mouth in you. But, like, people
Yeah.
love you. Like, people are always entertained by you. Like, everywhere you go, like, as soon as you walk into a room, people take notice. Like, that's just the type of character you are. But I've yet to meet someone who had a negative word to say about you. Like, you're sort of beloved across the country. D1's favorite son.
No, I appreciate that, boys. I just, do you know what it is? I never try to be anybody else but myself. And I think people feel the realness off me, because the thing about it is, I never try to be, I never try to be everybody's favorite person, or anything. Like, it's like sometimes it's like the best food in the world for me is steak, and so many people love steak, but not everybody loves steak. So it shouldn't be our job to have everybody love you. And I always say, like, a friend of everybody's is a friend of nobody's, because you're always trying to keep people sweet or whatever, and that's not me. I just say what I want to say, and if you agree with me, brilliant. If you don't, that's just the way it is. And you shouldn't have, everybody shouldn't like me. That's just the nature of the world. It's, people can disagree with you or not like you as a person. It shouldn't be your job to want everybody to like you. You just be yourself, and whoever wants to be around you and whoever loves you does. And the people who don't, you don't need them around you anyway, because they don't love the real you.
Absolutely. And I suppose with that love that the MMA community in Ireland has for you came with the GoFundMe. With the GoFundMe, obviously there was massive amount of money raised, which is
Yeah.
obviously well deserved for yourself. Obviously there was controversies with the GoFundMe, but how are you financially set now? And like, is there anything you want to say about the GoFundMe?
Yeah, the GoFundMe does misappropriated funds. We'll say, I can't legally speak on it right now. There's been a lot of talk about it, and there's a lot of questions asked all the time. I was just, there was other people in control of it from the beginning. I didn't have access to it then, but it's something that I can't legally speak on right now. But we're in the process of getting it sorted out. But until it's legally, I can legally speak about it, I can't say too much about it. But a lot of people, yeah, have been in touch with me, asking me about it and stuff like that. I just can't legally speak on it right now, but yeah, I will be able to speak on it soon.
And just with that, just from obviously like a personal point of view, like obviously like you're off to Colombia, you're off to Texas, you know what I mean? Like these things aren't cheap, but like obviously some people are really good to you and like have given their time. I thought is it Sean McCormack's star, Paul? He was up
Yeah,
doing
Paul.
he
Yeah,
was up doing a few bits with you, but obviously like
yeah.
you need like stem cell regeneration. Well, I'm probably just making it up, but like that they're
No,
the sort of
no,
things
you're
that I
right.
think are you need
Yeah, and
those sort of things. Like they're not cheap. So like how does
they're
that work
all
for you?
so expensive. They're all so expensive, boys. And the reality is, only for fundraisers and the GoFundMe, that's another thing that I'm really lucky about, because yeah, you can think positive and you can have this mindset, but if you're not getting you know, the appropriate kind of like rehab and treatments, then
Mm,
you can only get so far. So I'm
mm,
so blessed to have people doing fundraisers for me, and the GoFundMe. Well, obviously there was a bit of controversy around it,
mm,
you know, but I'm so blessed for everybody, you know, digging down and doing them sort of things for
mm.
me, you know, from what I did get from it and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose is the link still active for with yourself in control of it now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in control of it now.
Okay.
I
Yeah. Just for
wasn't I
everyone who's
wasn't the
watching,
one.
you know.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't the one in control of it in the past, but I'm in control of it now, thankfully.
And like a bit of a random one, but like obviously fighters sort of get sponsors on board for their fights or whatever. But has
Mm.
any companies ever approached you to like sort of sponsor your rehabilitation, or has anyone sort of gone on to that, or would you be open to that? Because at the end of the day, like you're one of the most watched fighters in the country right now who's not fighting. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because people are
yeah,
interested in your
yeah,
story. They want to see how's Ronan Curtis progressing. What's he up to? What's the
yeah.
clobber like? It's normally a shite, you know.
And all the threads are always fresh, boys. Yeah, now the that prize guy, he sponsors me and he looks
Yeah.
after me, and yeah, those we've been in negotiations with other business and stuff,
Mm,
but that prize guy, and he done a lot for me when I was in the bed too. You know,
mm,
it's like, and the thing about it is, I've always tried to help. Before the accident, I've always tried to help anybody out in any way I could, regardless of time, money, whatever, and I never looked up for anything in return. But the thing about it is like I'll never be able to repay like 99.9% of people who's had to helping me, because they've all done so much for me. And like I say, I'll never forget that time when everybody really looked after me when I couldn't look after myself, you know. So yeah, people like him are absolute gentlemen. You know, I wouldn't be in the position that I'd be in
mm.
only for people like him. Paul Harkin, absolute legend.
Yeah,
Well, to
sure
tell
to
you the
Paul.
truth, Ryan, I actually think you're paying everyone back in bucket loads by seeing people like seeing your progress, seeing you back on your feet walking, seeing you getting around, seeing you, you know, continue to be the person you are, and just the motivation and inspiration that you actually are giving to people all across the country. It's probably been known to you, but like I think you're paying everyone back and paying them back in spades. You're making people think the impossible is possible.
Yeah, no, and I do appreciate that, and a lot of people have said that to me since the accident. You know, it's just I kind of didn't really set out
Mm,
for that reason. I was just like,
mm,
oh, I'm just getting back to my feet and for my daughter and stuff like that. But as time was going on and I
mm,
knew that I was helping people because I was getting so many messages about it, I was so happy because I love to help people.
mm,
And I only want everybody to realise that as long as you don't put a limit on yourself, nobody can put a limit
mm,
on what you can do. You know, because like I said, and I'll openly say, a lot of even very close friends have come up to me since the accident and said, like, we're gonna be honest, when we seen you like that in the bed, we didn't really think you're gonna do anything, but you know, here we are, and look at what you're doing, and it's amazing, you know. So even some close people to me who've openly said that they wrote me off, and I was just like, as long as I never wrote myself off, which I didn't, I never for one second thought like, oh, what if this or what if that. I was like, no,
mm.
that's not a possibility. I'm gonna be back doing whatever I want to do.
And Ryan, how do you actually feel mentally and physically? Because like you're after overcoming something just so unbelievable.
Sorry, say that again.
How are you feeling both physically and mentally right now? Because what you just came over like
Yeah,
is so unbelievable.
both. I'm phenomenally down. I'm doing phenomenal on both. It's just there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that other people can't see, and I can't legally speak about them right now either. You know,
Mm,
what I did even say on the Talking Bollocks podcast was, if people seeing what I went through behind the scenes, you know, they would be even more impressed with where I am. Because what
mm,
I've had to deal with behind the scenes, nobody should ever have to deal with this kind of like badness put on them. Never mind while being paralysed from the neck down. You know, but like I said, when the time's right and I'm legally allowed to speak about everything, I will be speaking about it. because nobody should have to go through this.
I actually think it is incredible because I've spoken to Barry about this and said, like, even what you went through personally, like, forget the like physical injury and forget like even the mental aspect of just the personal life, the stuff you're going through. I think that would break most people, and for you to be able to still be here today, you know, the positive Curta that we all know and love is absolutely incredible. And I suppose, like, thinking of like what's in the future for Ryan Curtis as well. Like, would you ever consider doing, like, you know, public speaking as something that you might get into?
I'm actually getting speaking lessons as we speak. Yeah, I'm actually just to speak a little bit better, a little bit more clearer. You know, it definitely over in Colombia and Texas, like, nobody understands me. I have to speak really slow, and excuse me, sometimes when I'm speaking to Irish people, I don't think about it because I know they understand me anyway. But when I'm away in different countries and they're like, "What are you saying?" You know, so and they understand. I can speak slower. It's just the pace that we speak at when in Ireland. But then when you go outside of Ireland, you realise, people don't really speak at that sort of pace, because it's the pace more than anything that people don't understand. And obviously, we don't always fully pronounce our words correctly like they do in America. You know, so there's just stuff. But when I'm publicly speaking, I'm aware of that. So you know, it's not like when I am on stage or I'm doing this event or that event. That's something that I will have in my mind anyway. But there's a lot of technique to talking that you wouldn't actually think until you get lessons, and you're like, oh, it's like fighting. People just see somebody throwing a one tune, they're like, oh, we can do that, until you try and do it, and it's like, oh, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, well, you're definitely a TED Talk waiting to happen.
One thing, no doubt.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, one thing I did want to touch on actually was your time away in Texas and Colombia. We've seen you, you know, out in the streets with the likes of Rampage Jackson and Michael Bisping. What was that like? Because as soon as I saw you at Rampage, I was like, I wonder which of those two has the wilder stories.
Yeah, to be honest, boys, a lot of wild stories, and great. They're great people. But you know what? I've been in rooms with some of the biggest celebrities in the world, and the biggest people in the world, and you know, I'm kind of a person. To be honest, I don't really care about your status. I only care about, are you a good person, or are you a bad person, are you enjoyable to be around, or are you not? And I think that's why they also liked me being around them, because I never cared about any of that. You know, I don't care about celebrities or anything like that. When I'm around people like that, I just want to have a good time. Nearly same when I'm around my mates, and just good conversations, good times, having a laugh, just stuff like that. I'm not like sitting there going, oh, I can't believe, like, you know, like a text Rampage all the time on WhatsApp and stuff, like a decent bit, but just because he's actually a good friend now, and he's funny, and you know, he's a great person. He's such a nice person. Like, I don't care that he's Rampage Jackson, you know, he's just a good person, you know. That's all I cared about. But great stories.
His podcast is good too.
Though. Yeah, the Jackson podcast is brilliant.
The Jackson
say that again.
The Jackson
podcast. He was talking about potentially having me going over and having her on, like, you know, he's inviting me over to stay in his house and stuff, you know. So yeah, he's a really cool guy. I definitely will do it at some stage in California.
Well, I think that is part of the lovability about you, Curta. You were probably the biggest personality in the room when it came to when you're in the room with those guys.
Yeah, probably. They can't shut me up, to be honest. Blade, no, I talk if there was I talk to the wall in an empty house if I could, you know. Cause like that, I just like having a buzz with people, and just I'm genuinely intrigued by people's lives. Like, when I ask people questions about their lives, it's not like I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. You know, I want to know, like, oh, what was it like then? And you know, so I nearly asked him more about his own life than I did even the UFC stories or anything like that. You know.
Absolutely, but I suppose you understand what it's like to get into a cage and fight. So, like, you probably don't ask dumbass questions. You probably ask the more personal questions, which makes
Mm.
a more enjoyable conversation for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
because I'm
with that
sure
said,
he's getting that all
mm,
his whole career anyway. Oh, what's it like to do this in the UFC? What's it like? What's it like to be champion now? And
mm,
I'm sure he's sick of talking about it, to be honest.
yeah, I'd say so. And was Bisping over there getting his eye done, or what was he getting done?
No, he was actually, it was just by chance I met Bisping. He was in the office and I walked in and he just kind of looked at me and Erdiani and Brittany Palmer was there as well when I walked in and they were like, you're that guy who was paralysed from the neck down, the MMA fighter, and Bisping is saying that as well. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I was just going in to see me mate Joey. He's the one who kind of runs the clinic. He looks after the
Yeah.
athletes and the sports people and the celebrities, if you will. And I was just popping in to see him, and it was just a coincidence that they were there at the same time. And when I walked in, they couldn't believe it. They were like, I can't believe you're just walking into the office here like nothing's going on. I was like, oh no, I appreciate that. So yeah, it was cool. But he was getting his neck done. Bisping was, and he was like, I can't believe that I'm here complaining about my neck and whatever, and like, look what's happening after happening here when you're just getting on right. He was like saying like, I really need to stop all that complaining. So yeah, it was cool.
And with that being said, obviously you're getting this stem cell work. Like, what is your mobility like these days, Ryan? And like, do you need any assistance throughout the day, or can you go through a full day just being yourself at this stage?
Boys, I nearly didn't really need assistance since I left the hospital, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was like now definitely when I just had left the hospital, everything was a lot more challenging. Now it's like
Mm,
I'm just by myself and it's sweet. Like I could easily go do anything I wanted without assistance of anybody really. So now like I'm completely independent. I don't need anybody to do anything for me.
No, that's brilliant, and that's what people want to hear. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
sure, like, because I feel like that's always a question of someone who was in your situation. You'd be afraid to ask. You'd be afraid to be like, "Oh, what do you need
Yeah,
help with?" 'Cause, like, you
yeah,
would never
yeah.
want to, like, I don't know, emasculate someone by, like, you know what I mean? Like, some people might
Well,
need help out the
because
toilet or whatever. You know what I mean?
I've been through it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There
of
was
course.
like this wasn't always the case. Like there was
Mm,
times at the beginning when I had people feeding me, washing me, changing me.
mm,
Like that's what they do say. Like leave your dignity at the door of the hospital
mm.
because when you're in the hospital, it all goes away. And
I,
it's not a nice feeling to have people do them things for you. But I knew at the end of the day. It was upsetting at the time, but I didn't get too bad. I didn't get too down on it because I knew it wasn't going to be forever. I knew it was just a short period of time.
and with
Ryan,
that as well, well, like, obviously, like, that's obviously a time where, like, you could mentally break when you do have these people, strangers really coming into the room, like, helping
Yeah,
with those sort of things. Like, how did you mentally stay strong through that? Like, is that when you look at your daughter and be like, I need to get back on my feet for her?
yeah, yeah. She was such a big part of it, the motivation,
Mm,
because when I would really think of her, like I used to think about her non-stop every day, but when I really used her was like when I didn't have her in me myself to do a lot of
mm,
stuff, when I was like, okay, well, if you can't show up for yourself today, you need to show up for her, because I could
mm,
nearly just make that mental switch every day, no matter how down I felt, because make no mistake about it, there was a lot of down days, a
mm,
lot, like, and I'm not talking now like I'm having a bad day, like heavy days,
mm,
but that's it. I didn't make because I'm just such a person for. I just don't really like when people are victims of life.
mm,
I really don't like that. It's kind of like so many people I see kind of blaming other people on things, and what I say to people is, if it's always somebody else's fault, there's nothing you can do about it. So that's why
mm,
you need to take accountability for yourself and your life. Because when you take accountability for yourself and your life, then you can change it. Because you say to yourself, okay, well, I'm at the point myself into this mess. Now I can get myself out of this mess. But when you're constantly being a victim of life and you're constantly blaming other people, you can't get out of it because it's not your fault. That's what they think in their head. I mean, I could easily say, oh, this is not fair. You know, I went to the gym that day and whatever. I brought myself to that gym. You know, I knew what I was signing up for. It's nobody else's fault. It's my fault because I brought myself to the gym that day. Yeah, I might not have broke my own neck, you know, but at the same time, I brought myself to the gym. And like I said, I never blamed anybody else. I took accountability for it. And that's because, you know, I knew that if I took accountability for myself and my actions, then I could be the one to get myself out of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, and like I think that's where people get so much motivation from listening to you. You know what I mean? Like the accountability piece, the determination, like the consistency of everything that like you say and do, and like some people all the time say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but like every time you say something, you do it. I think the word I was looking for is the discipline. The discipline you've shown since the injury. Like it's like you've took everything that you would have put into fighting and put it into your recovery in this, and on the days where, like you said, you're in the deepest, darkest hole, like you managed to see the light and dig yourself out of it. It's absolutely incredible and so inspirational. Another thing I did want to ask, just like on the hospital, is do you still go up to Belfast for your checkups? And when like you walk into that hospital now, like did the staff look at you like you're some sort of Superman after walking back in there?
I actually haven't been back up to the hospital since because they referred me to the hospital down in Dublin, and
Okay.
then obviously they never really would have been. Now, judging like me prognosis and stuff when they see me, they're like, you know, I only like say for instance, I only went to the hospital there not long ago for a checkup because I wanted extra physio off them because
Yeah.
I'm always like, all right, come on, let's get walking. I want more walk. Like the guys in the Irish Strength Institute, I get like kind of workouts with them every single day. I work out with them with at least one of them. But I'm all about, okay, can I get extra somewhere else? So I'm constantly looking to work. So I was in the hospital and they gave me this little test. And they were like, Ryan, there's nothing we can do for you because you're at the just getting so like above this test. You know, they're like you got at it like there's a score on the test and you're just at the just getting so much above it that we know that there's nothing that we can actually do for you in here. So our advice is whatever you're doing now, we probably wouldn't have been able to do better than that anyway. So just continue to keep on doing what you're doing. So yeah, unfortunately, you know, they actually can't do anything for me because I just beat all the tests.
Well, shout out to the
Right.
lads in the ISI and shout out to yourself
Yeah.
for showing up every day. You know what I mean? As I listen to you on the Talking Bollocks, you know what I mean? It's not like, you get to go to the gym every day. You get to go to your rehab every day. So like that's again, like it's just that mindset. Like I can't speak highly enough about it, but
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and that's it. Like I say, I never disrespect myself by saying something, you know, talking negative to myself because, you know, even boys, you should hear how I speak to my daughter. You know, if she's not thinking that she can be the president of the world by the time she's 10, by how I speak to her, I'll be really surprised because the stuff I do even say to her now, like about confidence and the way she, like people think that she doesn't really understand it because she's only like 3 years old, but trust me, it goes in, you know, and that's like it's all about how you speak to yourself because people think you know, it's like as soon as you break like little things like, you know, you say you're gonna show up that day but you don't, that's like a little nugget of doubt. Then you say you're gonna do something else and you don't, that's another little nugget of doubt. And then the next thing you know, they all compound and you're starting to really doubt yourself. That's why I don't doubt myself, because no matter what I say, if I say that I'm gonna show up and stay there for 10 hours, then I'll do it because I never let myself down, and that's where the confidence comes from. I never make excuses. You know, I'm always there. I'm always putting in the work, and I never let myself down. I don't speak bad to myself. I don't speak negative to myself. Everything I say is really positive, and yeah, I'm just all about just working hard and just putting in the hard work and doing what I need to do.
Yeah. Brian,
as a
can I just ask
handsome,
you?
go on, Baz.
So, go on.
I was going to say, as a handsome man who's well dressed in D1 once said, those that say they can and those that say they can't are usually both right.
Exactly, because that's it. You know, the person who thinks who thinks they can will do it, and the person who thinks they can't won't do it, because their attitude is, why would I even try and do it, because I'm not going to be able to anyway. And then the opposite is true. They say, oh, I can do it. And usually if you're saying that I can do it, you're not really letting anybody else talk you out of it. You know, like me, I never let anybody talk me out of doing anything that I want to do, because they're not putting in the work like I'm willing to put in the work or do whatever I'm willing to do. You know, like I said, if I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'll put in 23 hours a day. Just give me 1 hour rest even. You know what I mean? But I'll do it. So, you know, no one has the right to tell me that I can and can't do something.
Yeah, Ryan. Just before we just ask you a bit more about what's next in the future, could you let us know, was there anything you would have done differently in your process in the last year?
Say that one more time.
Like, is there anything you would have done differently in the last year of like your recovery that you would have done differently?
That I would have done differently. I honestly I can't say that I would have done anything differently. You know, I think that's why I'm truly at the point that I'm at so fast. Because, you know, I speak to even people who have got back walking from stuff like this, and I was speaking to a guy, and he told me that he could only stand up after 3 years, and he didn't start even taking steps till 6 years. You know, so I believe the reason why I'm far along so quick is because I have done everything possible. You know, I don't even know something that I haven't tried to get to this point. You know, I've always ate super clean. I've always took the right supplements, the right nutrients. I've got stem cells. I've done extra sessions. You know, I went outside the hospital to get more work. You know, I've done almost everything off the top of my head that I could think of, because that's how bad I wanted to do it. You know what I mean? There was no if an obstacle came up, then I just found another way to do whatever I wanted to do, and I never let any barriers get in my way.
No, you see, the thing is, I feel like I've been shy in this episode because I'm just like just in awe of what you've done, Ryan. Honestly, bro.
No, I appreciate that, boys.
Looking into the future, Ryan. Like, what is there anything that you sort of want to achieve now? Because like obviously you have to overcome something like probably the biggest hurdle of your life. Like, is there anything else you plan on doing? Like, whether it be like, I don't know, like a triathlon or like climb a mountain, or is there any of that sort of stuff that's going through your head that you're like, I've done this, now I want to go and try to do that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely thinking to do them stuff, and to be honest, boys, them stuff are not even too far away. I know that I know from how I'm moving and what we're doing in the gym at the minute, that them kind of things are not too far away. And that'll be the only reason why I even will want to do something like that, is again just to show people that it can be done. Because I know that I will be able to do it regardless, you know. But when the time comes and I'm physically able to do it, it will be more to just show other people, because that's all I want to do. I just want to show everybody that you're capable of doing whatever you want to do, as long as you're willing to work hard, show up, put the time and effort in, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not possible. Then you can do whatever you want to do. And, you know, that's like for young kids, that's for people like my daughter coming up. You know, one thing that I really do love about America, that I will say that I do notice over there, is as soon as you come out of womb over there, they tell you that you can be the president of the country. You can be the president of the United States, you know. And I wish that, you know, there was more of that talk to young children over here. I feel like we're quick to set limits on young kids and just people in general over here. You know, I feel like Ireland's and you know how I speak about Ireland, it's the greatest country in the world. I love it, but I think, like, if I had one thing to change, that'd be it. You know, I feel like we're too quick to put limits on people over here.
Big time. Well, I do think it's you sort of grow up where you grow up, and you're sort of taught like that's your limit at times. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
you know, people can go on to do incredible things and do whatever they want. You know what I mean? So I definitely would agree with that. Another thing that I did want to touch on, what's it like now when you go back up to Fight Academy Ireland? Obviously, we saw you win an award there. You know what I mean? You're absolutely beloved up there. You know what I mean? Like we always say, you're the biggest character in the room when you go up there. What's it like when you go back up there and you walk back into that room?
Yeah, it's great. It's just phenomenal. It's what a gym. You know, the coaches, the fighters, the people, everybody. It's just a great atmosphere. I just love being in a place that has a really good atmosphere, and it's just such a good gym. And there's no surprise, there's no secret to why the gym is doing so well. When you've been in the gym and you see the work getting turned down, you see the effort being put in by everybody up there and the coaches, what the coaches do, it's just phenomenal. And it's no surprise that like you have people like Paul Lewis on world stages and doing things like he's doing. And Paul is only now getting the recognition he deserves, but obviously now people know who Paul Lewis is, but there's an army behind Paul Lewis that people don't know their names yet, and they will soon.
Big
Oh
time,
no,
big
100%.
time.
Ryan, we can't let you go without asking you as well. Like to summarize your MMA career, overall, how would you describe it?
Yeah, it's just that we are talking the other day, and it was just I'm extremely proud and happy of my MMA career. It's a shame that it ended like it did, because I really my dreams was just to get to the UFC. I always just wanted to get to the UFC. And I am disappointed that I never got there, but I had like a lot of bad luck coming towards the end of my career and stuff. And, to a degree, that might have been God going, this is not for you. We need you to do something else. And I wasn't listening, and he had to just take me from that. But I really would have loved to fight in the UFC, because that was my dream. But yeah, like some of the best, like definitely hands down some of the best nights of my life, and some of the loyalest supporters and the best support in the world. I have been the nights of my fights. So, like I really loved it, and the people who got behind me, and traveled with me throughout the world. It was such an electric career. I fought on some of the biggest stages in the world, and yeah, it was great. That it was just, I would have just liked to fight in the UFC, but look, it is what it is. At least, I was having like because like I'm not a quitter or whatever, but coming towards me at the end of my career, like my last couple of fights, I'm just like so disappointed, because I show up, I work hard, I do, 4 hours a day. I used to drive from Dublin to Belfast, two up and then two back. I done everything possible to get there. Um, and I done it because you never want to be that person that's like retires or does something and then be like, oh, what if I had a just kept pushing, or what if I had a kept on working hard, and I would have eventually got there. So like I was saying, I couldn't have ever looked at my daughter in her eyes and told her that um you're capable of doing anything if I had gave up on my dreams. So it does put me mind a little bit at ease to know that I done everything possible, and it was actually taken away from me, as opposed to me giving up on my dreams.
Yeah, I'll never forget that night at Bellator in the Tree Arena as well, when like he absolutely stole the show. Like that was
Yeah.
that night was absolutely electric, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was, because I think you were early enough on the night, but like the noise out of the Chaos Cartel was absolutely frightening
Yeah.
that night. You know what I mean? They really came in their droves to support you. And look, I suppose it just goes to show all the support you're getting now. And like, look, you are one of the most famous people in the country in the MMA scene right now. You know what I mean? And like, I think you're probably the most well-wished person in the country out of the entire MMA scene. Like, everyone is dying to see, what's your next feat, and what will Ryan Curtis do next. And like, I think you've made believers out of everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Now, and look, they put that faith in me, and I'm happy to prove them right. I'm happy to prove myself right, but I'm happy to prove everybody else right also. you know, and like that, whether it's your MMA career, a business, you know, you want to run for president, whatever it may be, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself and show up and put in the hard work. And I'm happy that I was able to display that to people, because, you know, a lot of people tell me every day, like, oh, you've really got me through some hard times. And to even hear that in itself from people is like crazy, because, like I said, I didn't set out to be this inspirational person, or it wasn't for that like reason that I done anything. You know, I just was like, okay, you know, I know what I can do and I'm gonna get back to my feet. But then as time went on and people were saying like, oh yeah, like this guy, he's actually you know, because obviously it was so severe. So I think even at the start a lot of people didn't think that I was gonna do, and then as it was happening in front of people's eyes, they were like, oh, he's actually doing it. He's not just talking about it or whatever. This is actually happening in front of our eyes. So yeah, to hear people get confidence and inspiration from me just means so much.
Yeah,
100%.
it's incredible to see, Baz, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm still blown away by the whole entire story, Ryan. I'm sure you never doubted yourself once, but like just having you on, like I think this is probably like the craziest and like heartwarming podcast we've probably ever done, Ross.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites of all time. Probably my favorite, to be honest. And like, it's weird to say that before you finished it, but like, it's just one of those ones where, like, you know what I mean? I don't think we've ever had someone on and like you've listened to their journey and just went like, this guy is the guy. And like right now, man, you are the guy. Like at the end of the day, you're making people believe anything is possible, and you're proving so many people wrong so often. And I suppose like going through something so life changing really made you realize like who are the real ones around you, and on top of that, also who, like, you know what I mean, who actually believes in you, who was just saying they believed in you the whole time.
Yeah. And then that's what I said from the start. It's like, it's so nice to have support and everybody believing you, and even people doubting me, yeah, no problem. But the most important thing is I believed in me. And that's what people need to take away from this. It doesn't matter who says that you can't do something. As long as you believe in you, that's the main thing. You know, that really is the main thing. And you know, that's one thing that I'll always instill in my daughter and my future kids, that I'll never put a limit on any of them, you know. And the thing about it is I just want them to be happy. If they're collecting stamps, all I ask is they try and be the best at collecting stamps. That's all I want from them, you know, to show up every day and put in the effort and just do what makes you happy. But don't listen to anybody who tells you that you can't do something.
Ryan, is before we let you get back on with the rest of your day, is there anything else you want to say to all the Chaos Cartel tuning in?
Yeah, no, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, everybody who's ever done anything for me and reached out and sent me lovely messages, you know, you guys are the ones that kept me going. You know, on the dark days, it was all you guys, and even you two guys, you know, you showed me loyalty from the very beginning of this, you know, with you know, just sending me well wishes and just keeping me in the public, talking about me and stuff like that. You know, it really is very overwhelming the amount of people who have done a lot for me, and the world really is an incredible place, and I'll always try and pay it forward. I've always tried to pay it forward from long before the accident, but I'm making it my mission to reach out and help people, and anything anybody needs, I'll be here.
Yeah. Can you send me on that turtleneck, please?
I'll send it on. What size, yeah?
Probably a medium these days.
Extra medium.
Extra medium. I'm XS myself, yeah, extra stocky.
Yeah.
Ryan, we want to thank you very much for your time, bud, and we'll let you get on with the rest of your day.
Appreciate it, boys. Thanks so much for having me on.
You're the man.
The Energized Show, up the Irish. It's the face that runs the place, Chaos Curtis. I want to thank the Irish MMA community so much for getting behind me. Yup, the Chaos Cartel.